Welcome to the Napoleon Total War 1v1 show match. There was a bit of drama between two Napoleon/Empire Total War YouTubers, DanTheMantis and Teodor. Both of them excellent players at this game, far better than me. They've both never played each other before. Both are top tier professional Napoleon players, and today they are fighting a 1v1 to settle the drama and see who is actually best. I don't know the exact rules they're played by, but I thought, you know what, it all happened on the OBG Discord during our Napoleon 2v2 event. Check it out, linked down below in the description. So I thought, you know what, we've got to cover it here as a show match. 1v1, we're spectating as Teodor, because DanTheMantis forgot to make the replay. So we've only got Teodor's replays here. So yeah, let's go with it. He's playing as Prussia versus what looks like it's going to be... Ooh, could also be Prussia actually. Is it the same colour? Yeah, I think it's Prussia v Prussia. Right, that's going to be confusing then. Here we go, two top tier players, never done a 1v1 before. Time to see who is the actual best. Fighting on grassy flatlands. Now, a fairly even map, but there is some strategy involved. I think you do have an advantage if you fight it up here on, like, just before here, because technically it's like this extra slope counts as a higher ground or something like that. So it does count as an advantage. Yeah, Prussia v Prussia, fantastic. So Teodor moving forwards with all of his troops right now, getting set up very early on the road. DanTheMantis being a bit slower, but I'm assuming their armour compositions are fairly similar. So cav-wise, we've got 4 in the back there plus general, and we've got 1 in the back and then 4 on the side here plus general. Actually, that's 5 from the back, so it's 5 cav each. But Teodor has them more at the back, whereas DanTheMantis has them more on the flank. I think Teodor has the better formation here from what I've seen from my 2v2s. They are better to fight with the infantry rather than going on flanks. Also, DanTheMantis has left himself open on this side. There is an opening, but it does mean he has more punching power in the middle. Teodor crosses the road. What happened to the chicken that crossed the road? He got slaughtered by Prussian musketeers. The cavalry getting into formation. He's got his lights as well. Wish it wasn't Prussia v Prussia. I wish we had different factions, but oh well. At least we can say it is perfectly even and perfectly balanced. Maybe the host might have a slight advantage, but apart from that, it's balanced. Prussia v Prussia on grassy flatlands. You can't get any more balanced than that. Ooh, this unit taking a bit of a beating already. These guys here getting their first shots in. The Prussian cavalry coming on the flank round this way. That unit there, by the way, was being shot at and they're not firing back because they're not in range. So this landwehr here, just taking it, just getting absolutely destroyed by those Prussians. Not a good start, but it does keep your opponent occupied, I guess. Maybe he's focusing on more important fronts. The Prussians are pushing forwards in a bit of an awkward position, not where you want to be. It means it's going to take a while to form a line. But if they're not going to counter it, then that gives them time to get into line. The Brandenburg Uhlans there. And the lights here, I think they are there having to pull back. I don't know if they got that many shots in. These guys sort of in formation here. Getting some shots in on both of those. The cavalry having to pull back there. They lost quite a lot of men getting shot at by those Prussians who did eventually form up. Meanwhile, this unit here, yep, it's having to retreat. A lot of them having to retreat, or at least relocate a little bit. Not looking good for DanTheMantis so far. Teodor seems to have the slight edge on both of the flanks. Oh, Teodor sending his cavalry through. It's going to hit the lights, who cannot form into square. Only the line infantry can do that. So he saw his opening. They do have reserves here, grenadiers, who I'm sure will push. These guys here, trying to form a square. They're getting shot at by friendly fire. I don't know what's going on here. Get your musketeers in formation. The Prussian lights pull back. The cavalry withdrawing now. They came to do what they did and they did it. And now they're pulling back. Balance of power going slightly in favour of Teodor. DanTheMantis pulled his cavalry back over here. His grenadiers coming up to retake the line. Ah, I love all the music. All the little details you get there. A nice line being formed here. They're getting some good shots in here. Not taking many losses as well, so that's good for them. But I don't know how many kills they're getting. Meanwhile here, this unit a little bit on its own right now, and oh, it's getting butchered. Why is he not paying attention to this unit? They're not in range of anything. Well, that they can shoot. They're in range of the enemy shooting them though. And oh, DanTheMantis losing so many men. Pull them back, pull them back. There we go. The light's pushing forwards. They took a lot of hits though, but they are getting down now, getting ready to shoot. A bit of teabagging, because we've got to do that first. And then they get then they get their wave of shots in. I've done like 4 recordings today, by the way, so my voice is completely getting messed up. Final one of the day though. Cavalry comes through, hits the lights again, but then they've cut straight through them. And DanTheMantis, he has nothing. I'll just call him Dan from now on, it's easier to say. He has nothing. He has nothing to counter this. Well, he's got his own cavalry charging in now, but what I mean is he has no square, and now that unit's completely gone. Now his own cavalry that is thrown into this is getting shot by them. There's some other cavalry engagement over there on the map. He charges it, so they're even more going to get cut down now, even if it does hit them in the back. Meanwhile, over here, what was it that happened? So, Dan sent his cavalry in, yep, but they got cut down by the square. They might have got a few kills though. Now, this unit's on its own versus about 2 or maybe 3. They've got some reinforcements coming up, but they're absolutely battered and probably useless at this point. And you can see the V formations coming in. It's starting to fall apart for Dan. He's slowly getting flanked on both sides, and Teodor is holding in the centre as well. In comes the flank. And that unit there, yep, he knew he had to pull out. He's just far too outnumbered. These units pushing forwards. They know they need to cut through the middle, basically. Yeah, that's it. Just cut through the middle and hope you can push through. That's what they've got to do now, but there's big gaps in the lines. And Teodor, he's coming round. He's got the infantry advantage now. Balance of power definitely does favour him. He's starting to encircle them. Not where you want to be if you're Dan. Who's that breaking now? Oh, it seems like he forced one of Teodor's units back. Whoever's Prussian Fusiliers. He forced them back. Good, good. That does leave an opening, but now he's still getting shot out on the side. Oh no, not good. They tried to return fire, but they don't have the best angle. Most of them are a little awkwardly placed. Meanwhile, a cavalry charge coming in from Teodor. Charging straight through, and it's going to go on to the next one as well. They're not able to form square. That unit's breaks. Oh, the flank is falling apart for Dan. Teodor's just looping around. Another break. Oh no, you can see it on the map. It's all falling apart for Dan there. I think Teodor's got the better of him. He's pushing through the centre as well now. Ah, it's all over. We've got a cavalry engagement, but Dan has to fight the square as well. He's going to try charge for square in melee. But Teodor's got reinforcements here. I bet he's got better cav numbers as well. And yeah, it seems Teodor's actually lost his cav. Dan's cav has won this. Can he turn it around? Might be a little too late though. His entire front line's broken now. Teodor's troops coming in over here. Dan has literally just 2 infantry left here. 1 infantry left. 1 infantry left fighting in melee here, and 2 cav units. And he's got the general as well. Luca. Did Teodor go for special general? No, just regular general staff. And with that, it falls apart for Dan. Well done, Teodor, for winning this best of 3. 1-0. Well, not winning the best of 3, going up in this best of 3. 1-0. I think we now have game 2. And yeah, sadly for Dan, it all did fall apart there. But it made for an interesting show match. On to the next one, game 2. Can Dan pull it back to a game 3? His general died at the end. Not the kill count you want there. Not what you want to see on the show match. But oh well, it happens. On to the next one. And we're now on the Pyramids map. Very, very deserty. So we got some high ground over here and some buildings, and then the other high ground is all the way over here. Spectating again as Teodor, who has gone for France. And is it another France v France matchup? No, this is red. Okay. Could be France versus the Ottomans. Or France versus Britain. Will they allow Ottomans in a heat map like this? Probably not. But we'll see. Similar formation as before. I wonder if they're going to use the high ground and defend it, or if they're just going to go for each other. What's this in the centre? A little wagon bat. Right, who have we got? It's Britain. France versus Britain. Good, the matchup we wanted. Dan is Britain, and Teodor is France. Naturally, I'm cheering on Dan for this one because I want the third game, and also I have to cheer on Britain when they're fighting France, obviously. His cav leads the way. Is he going to try to take this high ground first? The French cavalry come to meet him. I guess you've got a lot of pieces of high ground though with all the dunes. Yeah, it does form an interesting map here where you've got different troops all with different layers of high ground. Could be very confusing though for some players. Definitely for me. Cavalry try to charge the French dragoons there. They lose some men as they get shot, but they do make the push. They do force them back. They do lose a lot more men though on that charge. Dan is of course red. Dan is of course blue in this one. Oh, that's so annoying. The British are blue and the French are red. Why is everything opposite? Every time I do one of these replays, Rome 2, Medieval 2, Napoleon, everything's opposite. It breaks my heart. So France is red. It seems the French cavalry is retreating here, the Lancers, but the British cavalry are retreating as well. So even so far for both sides. But they're going to take out another cav, but more British cav come in. Oh, that cav unit got completely destroyed, but they're coming with reinforcements who do charge right into this. They get some kills. They've got the high ground charge as well. Meanwhile, the British do take the high ground over here, forcing Teodor onto a bit of a slope. And the British cavalry charge into this. You don't want to really be fighting here though. I think we might have overextended and we're going to lose a lot of men on the pullback. They might just survive it though. Oh, some friendly fire taking out their own horsemen. The French try to counter-charge. The British then turn around and they charge back at them. Yeah, they have to be careful there. They clearly overextended. And the gunpowder units, the infantry, they're fighting. The foot fighting the French lights, with extra reinforcements coming in from both sides. And the British cavalry charge the French again. But they do finally break. And the British taking this high ground here. I don't know how much it will do for them. I think the centre is the real part of this battle. But then again, Dan cannot lose his flanks like that. Oh god, I cannot speak like last time. Because that really lost it for him. And same again here, he's losing his flank. He doesn't have enough troops over here. He's got a load of troops back here doing nothing though, but it doesn't have enough troops here on the flank. So if this all starts to fall apart, and Teodor starts to loop around this way, it could look ugly. Another cav charge coming through. But it does break. Oh, it's about to break, I think. Surely there's no chance it can hold out here. The French form square. Surviving a lot better than I thought they would. They get a lot of kills. They charge a lot of infantry, but they are going to get cut down now, surely. Another charge on the infantry there, sending him absolutely flying. But yeah, they finally break. Well done, France. Nice for Britain though, getting into this high ground here. The French already wavering a little bit. Worried about the high ground. Once these first shots come through, we'll see how much damage they do. Got to move a little further forwards, of course. Not quite in range just yet. But meanwhile, Dan has to be careful of his flank over here. Balance of power still even. And here we go. Boom! A lot of shots in. France has to pull back. They only lose a few men though. Okay, they lost a lot more on the second volley for sure. That unit almost breaking, it's on red with morale. Not good, not good. But they pull back and they should recover from that. Cavalry charge through here for the French, but it should get cut down by the British. But it's all about, can it get enough kills for it to be worth it? That's what it's really about. We've got a random British cav unit, which I did not notice, all the way back over here, sneaking around. I think it's one that retreated, but it's now recovered. So keep an eye on that, see what it can do. More French cavalry charging in. Oh, they do charge a forming square though, so that's not good. You've got to pull out of that. They got kills, but yeah, pull out now before it gets into its full square. Oh, that poor man. He's got caught, he's going to get shot down now. Someone take a shot. He actually made it. He made it to safety. That surprised me. This French unit, complete mess. Don't know why they're facing that way. The British having to pull back though, to form out of square. And this French cav unit, surely it's going to get cut down now. The final 9 chasseurs. Come on, get them cut down. Britain's got the high ground here, forcing the French back, but on this side, it's the French forcing the British back. Balance of power still even. That French unit did break, but the British, they decide to charge themselves. Another French charge over here, trying to take out the lights. That's a lot of lights in the middle by Dan. He doesn't have enough cav here, he doesn't have enough line infantry to form a square. Not a good position for him. Meanwhile, these guys again are being engaged. They're charging into melee. The Black Watch, they're going for it. They get a good charge in there, but the French are here. They can counter shoot at them. Meanwhile, this cav unit is fighting the lights. They can't form square. The general's having to pull back because he's being shot at. Britain, it's looking good for them if you see it on this side, but when you look at it in the middle, not good at all. They just don't have the cavalry or the line infantry in the centre. Nothing to counter the French cavalry, basically. And then on this side, it is a disaster for Britain. It's all falling apart. The French have better reserves here. The British are routing on all fronts. The cavalry comes through. Oh no. It's like winning on this side, I don't think is going to be enough. And the French, they just keep pulling back. They're refusing to fight it. Now they're standing to fight though, but then they pull back even more. They get their shot in. And then the pull back. I like it. I like this move by Teodor. But he is losing men on the retreat. But then he stands here and he reloads. And slowly he starts winning it on this front here. The British having to reform a line to try and counter these Frenchmen. Oh, they've broken there. They're getting overrun. On the map it doesn't look too bad. On the balance of power it doesn't look too bad. But when we see it like this from getting cut down in the middle, it does look bad. It's not where you want to be if you're Dan. I think Teodor has the slight advantage here. The British are still fighting back. And we've got this line, the next line with their general supporting as well. If these British come back, the King's German Legion Lightfoot, they might be able to make something of this battle, but these guys are now being shot at from 2 different sides. Those formed a square for a second. I think they're now charging it in melee. Oh no, just reforming their line. This unit here is going to get hit by 2 different units at some point. Oh, this British unit's breaking. The flank is really falling apart here. For Dan, Teodor's pushing through. He's definitely the one on the march now, marching forwards. Not letting the British have any time to regroup. Oh, and the British having to pull back again, but now they're being shot at in the back. They're nearly falling back. Their general taking a few bullets as well, a few strays. And they're pulling back to the high ground, it seems. Yeah, balance of power's not looking good for them. You can tell Teodor's got a lot more men on the field. The British have to pull back to the high ground. At least they've got that high ground to pull back to. That's something. And hopefully this unit returns to the field for them. But right now, the French do look a lot more dominant. They're trying to make a stand here. They've pushed back the French there. They're going to probably break that unit too. Oh, but this unit here is doing a 1v2. They're trying to reform their line as well. They're not shooting back, they're not reloading. They're still getting into line. Not good, not good. Okay, they get around the shots in. But the French get into a better position. Okay, they came back to the field, that's good. Oh, but they're now having to flee. They're pulling back, they're forming square to fight infantry. A sign that they're being completely surrounded here. Yeah, they've got to form a square just to be able to fight on the multiple fronts. Got nothing to do with cavalry at this point. And more British are breaking on the flank. The French troops are just cutting their way through. The general blows his little trumpet to try and rally them. But I don't think it's going to be enough. These French here could flee any minute now. They could break potentially. They are fighting on low ground. They really need to do something about this square because right now it is getting a lot of kills. And if it starts to break these two, it could go back in favour of Dan at that point. Oh, they're forming out of square now. They're trying to get back into a line or into a better square. I don't know what they're doing. Into a better square, a tighter formation. I don't know if that's what they need now though. And because they're losing so many men, they just keep trying to get into new formations. So they're not actually shooting. They're not making the most of it. The French charge this in melee. French still have cavalry charging through. They're going to hit these guys in the back. And with that final cutting blow, I think Teodor's won it. I think he's won this best of 3, 2-0. The British, they're sending their general. He gets an excellent charge in there, and he still survives it. But the British infantry are breaking everywhere. They've got nothing left. It's basically just their general at this point trying to break this unit. Balance of power agrees. They did break that unit. That is something, but the balance of power still really heavily favours Teodor. He sends in his other general. The French need to form square here. But at this point, I don't know if they care. I think they know they've won it. The British general breaks and he flees. He's gone. He's out of the field. And well done Teodor there. Again, getting an extra 400 kills on top of Dan. Well played to him. Winning this best of 3, the show match, with a 2-0 victory. Well done to him. Well played. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this show match. Check out the OBG Discord for future tournaments to take part in those. We have a Napoleon 2v2 tournament right now that I'm recording for. And it's a $300 prize pool, so make sure to check it out. All linked down below in the description. And thank you for these two players as well for doing this show match here. It was very interesting to watch, and it was nice to have something different as well in the middle of the Napoleon tournament. Something a little different to shake it up a bit. But yeah, for now, hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.